Malcolm, you know, you've changed a lot since your first appearance on this show some years ago. At that time, you were sort of a stormy petrel, and you hated all whites, you said.
I've gotten older.
Something to that effect. Now you have a different attitude completely. And you told me once that your religious experience in Cairo has changed your attitude and your outlook.
Well, as a Muslim, since I left Elijah Muhammad's Black Muslim movement, I should say since they put me out, because that's what they did, I've had a chance to do some traveling, and travel does broaden your scope. And as a Muslim whose religion is Islam, as it is practiced and taught in the Muslim world, I realize that it is impossible to call oneself a Muslim, to call one's religion Islam, and at the same time judge a man by the color of his skin. When I went to Mecca, I was faced with this decision. I was faced with the decision of believing what Elijah Muhammad had taught me and using the criteria of judgment, the color of the skin, or I had to accept Islam as it was taught in the Muslim world, which doesn't use color as the color of the skin as the criteria. Rather, in the Muslim world, in the religion of Islam, you judge a man by his behavior, by his conscious behavior, by his intentions, by his deeds. This is the yardstick by which a person is judged.
This poses two very interesting things. In other words, you no longer believe, as Elijah Muhammad has been quoted as saying, that all white men are devils. You have changed that thinking.
If what Elijah Muhammad says, that all white men are devils, then you have the king of Arabia, King Faisal, who is white. He is the keeper of the holy city of Mecca. And many other Arabs there on the Arabian, not only in Arabia, but in Egypt, in Algeria, and other places. They are, from all appearances, white.
Now this poses a second problem I'd like to get your opinion on. Of course, you may be biased because you no longer are a member of the so-called black Muslims. But is the black Muslim a religion or not? Because this is coming up in the case in Chicago where a prisoner in Statesville converted from Roman Catholicism to the black Muslims, and he demanded to be able to be allowed to practice his religion in the jail. The warden denied this because he said the black Muslim was not a bona fide religion.
Well,
how do you feel about that?
I want to answer that with this explanation first. Number one, no one can use me against Elijah Muhammad or against the black Muslim movement. On the other hand, anything that Elijah Muhammad says or does, or the black Muslim movement says or does, which I feel is against the best interests of the black community, then I'll attack it myself. But I won't attack it because someone sicks me on it. I don't let anybody use me to fight their battles. No one can say that what he teaches is not a religion, but it is not the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam is based upon brotherhood. It is based upon belief in Allah, the creator of the universe, infinite, omnipresent, omniscient, what's the other word? Omnipotent. And whereas Elijah Muhammad teaches that God is a man who came to America in the flesh and taught him what he knows. Islam teaches that belief in all of the prophets, especially Muhammad ibn Abdullah, who was born and died in Arabia 1400 years ago. And the Muslim believes that Muhammad of Arabia was the last prophet, last messenger, whereas Elijah Muhammad teaches that Muhammad of Arabia was not a prophet. He was an enthusiast, and that he himself, Elijah, is the prophet. So that what he's teaching, as his son Akbar said in a press conference in Cairo a couple of weeks ago, what Elijah Muhammad is teaching is diametrically opposed to the principles of Islam. And the Muslim world itself, at the religious officials at Mecca and the religious officials at Al-Azhar, which is the top authority on Islamic theology, totally reject what Elijah Muhammad teaches as being any phase even of Islam. On the other hand, what he's teaching can easily be defined as a religion, but it cannot be labeled Islam. And whereas the brother in prison is concerned, I learned about Islam in prison myself. And I think that if the penal authorities were farsighted enough to permit the religion of Islam, real Islam, true Islam, to be taught in prison by qualified Islamic religious leaders, as they let Judaism, Catholicism, and the Protestant religion be taught there, then many of our people who are in prison wouldn't be misled like I myself was. Because there's a vacuum in this country where Islam is concerned, and the black Americans know less about the religion of Islam than anybody else, the true religion of Islam. And in that vacuum, it's easy for any phony or faker to come along with a concocted, distorted product of his own making and say that this is Islam.
Are you, by inference, saying that Elijah Muhammad is a faker and a
If
phony?
Elijah Muhammad really believed in the same God that I believed in, I believed in Elijah Muhammad stronger than he believed in himself. I believed in his God more than he did. And I was not aware of this until I found he was confronted with a crisis in his own personal moral life, and he did not stand up as a man. Anybody can make a moral mistake, but when they have to lie about it and will be willing to see that murder is committed to cover up their mistake, not only are they not divine, they're not even a man. If a man sits as a judge and a woman is brought in front of him and charged with adultery, and the judge himself is the one with whom she committed adultery, but the judge stands up and berates the woman, in order to make no one even suspect that he is the real criminal who was involved with the woman, and humiliates her, and then sentences her into isolation, completely destroys her reputation, with no kind of protection for her or of her whatsoever, and she takes it. She loves him so much and believes so strongly in his sense of justice so much, she allows herself to be projected almost as a prostitute. And that man permits this, then that's not a man. To have gotten weak for a woman is one thing. It's human and it's natural. But after getting weak and completely destroying her reputation, to do nothing whatsoever to protect her as a woman, then he's not a man. And to commit murder and to see followers line up to kill each other and to mutilate each other, then this is not a man.
Doesn't Elijah Muhammad preach nonviolence and no use of guns and weapons and so forth?
When I was in the Black Muslim movement, we never carried weapons. We were taught against that. And we were never taught that we never actually fought at any time. We were told that God was going to come, and do all these things. When the Muslim brothers were beaten in Louisiana, we weren't allowed to fight back. Nothing was done to equalize the situation. Elijah told us that God would come and do it. But to show you that there's lack of consistency, now he orders his followers to go out and attack each other, to mutilate each other. If the ability, the talent, the skill, the know-how that the Black Muslim brothers have been trained into were used against organizations like the Ku Klux Klan or the White Citizens Council or the racist elements in this country, then I could somewhat go along with the present trend of their fighting each other too. But when all of their physical energy is expended only fighting each other, then I say something is wrong.
Are you trying to tell us that there's been an attack on your life because of your withdrawal or dismissal from the Muslim organization?
I've had several.
You have?
And just thanks to Allah, so far I've been successful. But I'm like this. I believe that when you're a black man born in this particular society, you are faced with certain dangers already. You get used to it. And plus, the stand that I took when I was in the Black Muslim movement was uncompromising. I defended an indefensible position, I think, and he was that indefensible position. Anybody who defends an indefensible position as well as I did, they must have believed in it.
You want to apologize to me for our first argument many years ago?
No, I won't apologize for this reason. You see, I don't think that the burden is upon any black man in this society to apologize for any stand that he takes, for this reason. Most of us are attracted to things extreme, primarily because of the extreme negative condition that we live in and that has been permitted to exist already far too long.
Yeah, but our first argument, Brother Malcolm, was not over that condition, which
What
I
was it?
readily admitted. Mine was over the position of the black Muslim, the very thing that you are now denouncing. And let me say this.
Mind you, when I denounced it, I said this, that I'm not denouncing it because society wants me to, or some agency wants me to, and I'm not I can explain its existence and defend its existence. The burden...
That's because you're very glib and very able with words.
The Black Muslim movement is the result of the failure of a society. The hate that exists in the American society is what has produced the frustration that exists in black Americans.
The Ku Klux
That
Klan.
makes it's a different thing altogether.
But the
Ku
same
Klux,
thing,
no, it's a different thing.
result of racial hatred, is it not?
No.
Sure
The
it
Ku
is.
Klux Klan is a part of the society.
It's a result of racial hatred.
No, the Ku
And
Klux
your
Klan...
black Muslim is a result of the racial hatred at the other end.
Sir, the Ku Klux Klan is a part of a society which has absolutely failed in its to fulfill its promise for 22 million black Americans. And it is a part of that society that has been used to frighten the black Americans into taking positive action to eliminate the negative conditions. Now, the black Muslim movement is the result of frustration that exists among black people and who see no hope of the society itself creating a real door, so they take the door that is placed in front of it. Now, I myself, as I said, am a Muslim who believes in brotherhood and who believes not in judging a man by the color of his skin. But on the other hand, I have to face the reality of the fact that I live in a society in which brotherhood has not become a reality. And because of that, then I have to take a stand that is uncompromising on the side of my people against anything or any person that stands in the way of our being recognized and accepted as human beings in the same context with all of humanity.
We have to pause here for a message, but before we do, I'd like to make a point that we knew that Malcolm probably would say some derogatory things about Elijah Muhammad, and we asked the black Muslims, or the Muslims as they prefer to be called, to have a representative here, either in person or on the hotline. They declined, but they said they may have an answer here next week.
They want to answer when I'm not here to...
I'm right. I would agree with you. We'll pause for a message, and we'll be back with some new guests. We'll say goodbye to this group and welcome some new guests right after this message.